Happy New Year, Rachel. Happy New Year, everybody. Here we are, January 1st, 2026.
Here we are,
Hmm
2026.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Hold on. I wanted this one.
Okay.
Do you see it? Fireworks.
Oh, firework. Yeah, sparkles. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay, one of my goals for 2026, I'm jumping in already. I'm going to figure out how to do that because I think that's so fun.
It's so fun. So for me, in my top scroll bar, like at the very top of the
Mhm.
screen, I have a little what looks like a little movie camera, and it's lit up green. It's my Zoom, Google Chrome, I don't know, and it gives me options. You could also hit the wheel at the bottom, the settings wheel, visual
Mhm.
effects. You might be able to do that there.
Mm.
I don't know about your neighborhood, but
Mm.
we had explosions going off at
Oh,
New Year's. There's a person right behind us, like the house directly behind us. They were setting off the big booms, right? I mean, the big, huge. Our house was like go, 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 like shaking. Our windows were rattling. I'm
oh,
like,
wow.
it's a war zone. It's really quite fun. Our neighborhood is pretty festive in that way. But yeah, so I
Mm.
was awake at midnight. Were you awake at midnight?
No, I was fast asleep.
Lucky
Yeah, I
you.
didn't hear anything. Fast
Lucky
asleep.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to bed a little bit later. We did have some friends over, but I kicked them out.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
We're not ringing in the new year on Pacific Coast time, right?
Right. Yes, we decided that at 9 o'clock. Yeah, we were good.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. We had a great time though.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun to be with people these are new friends that are just in our backyard. So that was one of our gratitudes for, reflecting back on the year, just meeting new people and becoming friends with people right in our backyard, had been there and we just hadn't known yet. So how
That's
exciting
so fun.
to look into the new year with, shoulder to shoulder with people who have, consistent values and, neighbors that you can rely on when, maybe, in difficult circumstances, et cetera, or just for fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like you're already doing some reflecting on the year, pulling in some
Mm,
gratitude,
yes.
seeing
Yeah.
what changes you've had that are
Mm,
new for you now going into 2026.
mm. Yes. Yeah. Lots of reflecting on, like, what I'm really celebrating, what I'm proud of myself for,
Mhm.
as far as my health is concerned, and yeah, what things I've, my wins or whatever, what
Mhm.
things I've, not just health maybe, but life in general, and maybe
Yeah.
not just physical health, but mental health, emotional health, the whole picture,
Right.
spiritual health, yeah, the whole
Yeah.
big picture. So yeah, it's
Well,
been good.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about we talked about having this episode be all about ringing in the new year with
Mm.
the resolutions idea on our minds, but really developing it more further than that. I think most people who we talk to nowadays, no one's really setting resolutions anymore. It's
Mhm.
they're really looking at some reflection of the past
Mhm.
year, setting intentions and looking forward for the progress of the new year, rather than just I'm going to hit the gym every day for the next 3 months.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
they're looking at this in a little bit of a bigger way, and there's a lot of
Right.
great resources out there for
Mm.
reflection and for
Mhm.
planning for the new year.
Mhm.
And so I think we're going to talk about a lot of that today, and we have some great questions for everybody um, to share with you guys, so that you can be writing down these questions. Those of you who are listening, to do your own planning session, do your
Mm.
own reflection over the next couple weeks. But before we jump into that, Dr. Gilbert, there was something that we both had like an aha moment with in our recent staff Christmas party,
Mm. Yeah.
having to do with the new year, having to do with when we celebrate the new year and what the season actually is doing. So
Yeah.
share with everybody, because for you and I think it was an aha, but it was also a little bit of a like it released us from a certain kind of pressure we were
Mm.
feeling.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, because a lot of times I feel like, okay, I'm putting a closure on one thing and then I have to just ramp up energy, just like that. I have to produce energy from, something from nothing.
Yeah.
And for the new year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we discovered and what maybe this already, but January 1 seems to be kind of man-made, a little bit artificial, right? Yeah, as far as the new year. Yeah. Well, first of all, so a lot of us are in different fiscal years. Maybe you're a teacher and your year started September, So, but then, coming from an agrarian culture, the new year, and then also, thinking about, different religious cultures, the new year really started in March with planting season, which I found fascinating. And it was I don't know, do you remember the specific history of it? How it changed to January?
It had to do with the governments in power. I don't know if it was the Romans or the Greeks, or someone decided, having to do with someone's rule. And maybe it had to do with political things, like their rule started in January, so that's when they changed the calendar or something to that effect. But it was more politically or financially based, not based on the natural cycles of the year or our circadian rhythms or the seasons of the year. And when we were talking about this in our group and kind of realizing that a lot of other cultures, a lot of other religions, and sort of our history as humans who were primarily farmers and ran, living off the land, the new year was kind of that planting time when it's like spring and new growth, and the days are getting longer and we're having more light, and there's kind of a hope and you're looking forward to what's going to happen over the next 12 months or the next growing season, maybe, so to speak. And from that standpoint, you and I could feel the energy around March, right? We're looking at March going, oh yeah, I have a lot more growth minded or get it done or tasking energy in March as compared to what we feel we have in December or specifically in January and even February.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so, and it was such a release and the like the kind of a relief anyway, that like, okay, no wonder, and it made sense. And like, why didn't I think of this before? But it's okay, because I'm thinking about it now. And that energy can slowly build, and I don't have to produce something out of nothing. And I can be, as the days get longer and there's more sunlight, and I can just kind of grab onto that. Yeah, I can feed off of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like we're more naturally bent to the seasons as it pertains to our the energy around work or production or goal setting and things like that. So this time of the year, which includes January, it's December, January, February, or something like that. This time of the year is really more of the energy we feel because of the daylight, circadian rhythm, and because of the weather. Humans tend to bunker down a little bit. We tend to batten down the hatches, do a little bit of hibernation, lower energy. We're maybe sleeping more because of technically, right? With your job, you maybe can't, but you feel it. You feel like you want to sleep. Right. It's darker out. And we're kind of healing and preserving and restoring and sort of going into a slower, I think of like bears. They're not totally hibernated usually. They come out once in a while, but they're really slow moving. Everything kind of slows down. And then as the season changes, and we know this about human behavior, people tend to be more goal-oriented and have more energy and more motivation as the weather changes and as the time changes and the light changes. So it kind of, like you were saying, it gives us that permission to say, okay, while we are living in this modern culture where the January is the calendar, the business calendar we all have to follow, I don't have to demand of my body and my mind and energy creation or a growth mindset, and feel frustrated if it's not fully there. I want to feel like I can naturally invite my mind, my heart to think about these things and not force something that you're feeling you don't have the energy for yet.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and I kind of remember you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Rachel, that you pretty much, it's been your rhythm to take January as
Yeah.
this time of reflection and planning. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt I've never really been a resolutions person per se, but I've always loved the new year and the ringing in of the new year as a time to stop and reflect. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But I always felt a pressure to sort of get it done by the first or the second, or maybe even on the 31st. And I realized if I sit down and ask myself some questions today, I will not know all the answers.
Hmm.
I will not know what I really want my goals to be for the whole year. I won't know. I won't have a full answers yet. I need to kind of warm up to it and sort of
Hmm.
start off my year. So I've given
Hmm.
myself the whole month of January
Hmm.
to develop my goals and hopes and sort of focuses and intentions for the rest of the year. And I
Yeah.
hope that gives you guys listening a little bit of freedom that it doesn't have to happen today. There's
Yeah.
no like clock ticking on today that you have to figure this stuff out.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, what kind of questions do you ask yourself? What kind of questions would you, as a coach, going to
Yeah.
ask? Yeah, us
Yeah.
and listening.
The first thing we want to do when we go through this process is to reflect, to first look back on and take notice of and take stock of what happened this past year. So kind of like what you were saying at the very beginning of our time together, gratitude for a new friendship that's come in, and you're kind of reflecting in how what a blessing that's been, and it's something new they were right there all the time, but it's a new friendship. And I think when we take that time to reflect, so a couple of the questions I ask about in my reflection time is, what were some of the great things that stand out from the past year?
Mm-hmm.
What do I look back on and go, oh yeah, that was really cool. Maybe it's vacations, maybe it's a birth or a wedding, or a new milestone you hit in your personal or career life. I like to look back and go, what kind of sucked? You know, what sucked? I mean, I think it's a really important question because you're acknowledging and accepting that some hard things likely happened.
Yeah.
To you or around you. There were hard things you overcame. That can become a gratitude when you realize that some of the hard things you've overcome
Right.
or you
Yeah.
persevered through. And so giving yourself the credit to remember what really took place in 2025, the good, the bad, the ugly, the neutral. And then as I do that, and I kind of take stock of that, then I like to review that list and go, okay, what would I like more of in next year? So of the things that happened, which ones do I want to repeat? Which ones are like, hey, that was really cool. I want to do something like that again. Or the feeling I felt from that, how could I repeat that? What could I do to sort of get that similar result that I got? And then on the same flip side, of the things that happened that were pretty bad or pretty hard, how could I do less of that? Is there a way to avoid some of these hard things that happened, or to get through them or navigate them even better this next year? What have I learned from it? So really it's learn.
Yeah.
What occurs to you from that process?
Yeah, exactly. So I like that you hone in on the feeling that you had, or yes, or maybe the result that you had, but versus the exact experience, because sometimes, I have a great vacation and I'll go back to the same place, thinking I'm going to have this awesome experience, and it doesn't turn out that way. So, but if I focus on maybe the relationship building, or the the feeling I'm feeling versus the exact duplication of circumstances, then I'm more likely to, So it's honing in on maybe just a little more nuance of, that, it was just that gratitude or that joy or that peace that I felt. And I really want to move that forward.
Yeah. Right. It's asking the question, what was it about that experience that was great? So what it may have been a great, let's just use the example of a vacation. The vacation was awesome, but like you said, you can't duplicate that same vacation. But what about that vacation was awesome? Was it because you learned some new things about that culture? Was it because you explored things you went outside of your comfort zone and did something dangerous or a little adventurous? Was it because of the people you were with? Was it because you moved way more during that vacation and you felt healthier coming back than previous? So it's really, what about that experience was great or made the difference for me? And how can I replicate those kinds of experiences in 2026?
Yeah, and I really like then on the flip side of that, in the same vein, in the same spirit, then looking at the stuff that was challenging or difficult or sucked, as you said, and then learn, how did I grow? How did that push me? What were the best takeaways for me for that? And
we can sit a moment with the difficult and the acceptance and acknowledgement, so that we allow the emotions. We're not trying to pretend it didn't happen or to get through the emotions, avoid. That all just, that doesn't get us anywhere. When we accept and acknowledge and take a moment to sort of maybe grieve over something or someone that was lost, to feel the feelings of the hard. And then when we feel we've sort of processed that a bit, acknowledge, maybe we journal about it, maybe we just sort of talk ourselves through and remind ourselves that, wow, that was big. Then we can move into and now what was the takeaway? What did I learn? How did it change me? How did it grow me? What is the positive I can pull from the hard? And maybe it's just something it teaches me of what not to do next time.
I'll never do that again.
I won't do that again. Right.
Yeah.
So that's part of that reflection.
But at the same time, I'm going to add to that, not beating myself up for whatever, doing it. It's like, I'm not going to do that again.
Right. That's the beauty of the reflection, is we go into it with the mindset that I'm not doing this to beat myself up or to relive all these terrible things. I'm doing this with a growth mindset purpose. I'm doing this so that I can go, okay, don't do that again. Move on. We quickly move on, right? We don't want to get stuck in this perseveration that kind of slows us down.
That's so true. Yeah, so good. Yeah, so great reflection questions. And not we don't have to be in a rush to answer those questions. We can just let them percolate and see what kind of bubbles up.
And actually, as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking maybe we, over the couple weeks of January, maybe we kind of give ourselves and the people listening the chance to go through this, so maybe we kind of stop there. And rather than to talk about everything we were going to talk about today, we could just invite people this next week to just reflect.
Yeah.
To spend the time reflecting, reviewing, kind of, putting things into categories. What do I want to do more of? What do I want to do less of? What was life giving? What was life draining? What do I want more of? What do I want less of? Those are some of the ways to reflect.
Maybe there are several ways to ask the same thing, but maybe it spurs your mind to think differently. What habits made life really hard for you?
Great question. Yes.
And what habits lent themselves to ease, what habits lent themselves to dis-ease or made life harder, more challenging, and what habits, led to peace, to,
I think we're really quick to add habits to the year. What's something new I want to do? And people talk about eat better, go to the gym, lose weight, get a promotion, find a spouse, buy a home. We add all these things, but there's so much value in taking away and shaving the fat off of our schedule, off of our stress levels. And so often it's, okay, what habits, what behavior, what actions could I remove?
Yes, right. What am I ready to let go of?
What can I let go of? And sometimes that has to do with maybe friendships or frequency of hanging out with, maybe, or maybe it's certain meetings you go to, or clubs you're part of, and maybe it's time to move on from those. Maybe those are no longer serving you, or they're really not growing you, or, they've lost the purpose that you were originally doing it for. And maybe it's time to pivot to something different.
Yeah. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Another good reflection question is, sometimes we know we want to do something, but we hesitate. We finally make a decision. Maybe a good question is, what decisions did you make that if you had a do-over, not that would you have just made, oh yeah, I would have done that sooner, but we were afraid, we were hesitant, we were holding back, what's going to happen? I don't know, and so, I can think of one for me. I was really hesitant of taking more charge of my schedule and having like a low gear Monday.
Right.
And so I'm like, what's going to happen? People will leave me, and so I finally did that, committed to starting at a later time on Monday. And I have been, 90%, respectful of that commitment that I made to myself.
Yeah.
And it has been the best thing. Why did I wait so long?
Right. Like knowing what you know now. I have a great, I have a question. I was just looking at I took some screenshots of some questions for reflection. And this one is just a different way of wording that. It says, knowing what I know now, what advice would I give myself 12 months ago?
Oh, I love that.
And again, I love that you preface it by saying, this isn't a criticism. This isn't another excuse for you to beat yourself up, criticize yourself, feel guilty or ashamed, or screw. No, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to say, oh, okay, now what I know, and maybe you can even, in your example, stop and take a few seconds to acknowledge what now you know about yourself, or what lies were you telling yourself?
Right.
What stories were you believing that in the future you'd like to change the way that you think or believe those things?
Yeah. And I can, several things pop up is like, gosh, just because I make a change doesn't mean I can't make another change. Just right.
Right. So that frees you up to make the decision quicker.
Yeah.
Fail fast. They say fail fast or fail fast forward. So make a decision. If it goes wrong, cool. Pick it up and change real quick.
Yeah. I can do that. Yeah. I can do that. Yeah. So, and another thing would be, and we don't have to get stuck on this, but that I can trust my, my little, that seems like that would really be good for me. I built confidence in that, or trust. And, not that every idea is a great idea or whatever, but that I can trust at least to take the next step there. And I'm going
to throw a little monkey wrench in our way of thinking here that I think will be very helpful, not only to you in this situation, because it's so it's filled with so much grace and compassion, but for people listening, that in the same way you might say, well, what advice would I give myself, or what would I do differently? In what way are you proud of yourself that you did take some time to really think that through? Yeah. In what way did that honor who you actually are and your value system?
That I stopped and I chose not to do something. Yeah.
There's a reason there. Right. There have been times, and this is only recently, where I've started to give myself, and it's not just myself, it's maybe my husband as well. We'll talk about things, and I'm a slow decision maker, and it's something I've always wanted to be better at. And recently I realized, while I still try to make more quick decisions, and I'd like to be a little bit better of a more decisive, person, I really like the way that I go about making decisions, because when I make a decision, I feel very confident in it. And I know I've done some research in it and I feel safe. And those are important values to me. Now, do they sometimes slow me down? Yes. And I'm working on that. And also, I really like this part of my personality. I'm actually really proud of my skill set. So there's a way that we can look for a little bit of change and okay, next year I'll do this a little differently, but also honoring that you come by your process honestly. It's part of who you are. It honors your rhythms, your values, the way that you need to kind of methodically work through something.
Yeah. That's so good. So I love this idea, Rachel, of spending January with these reflections, and maybe we'll come back next week and add some more. But I think, can we review some of the what we've talked about? So maybe people who are just joining or listening later, maybe we'll jot them down.
Yeah. The reflection was a little bit of looking back and taking stock of the year, and taking notice of the things that were great and the things that were not so great. But really acknowledging and accepting both, maybe making a list of some highlight things that you might pull, kind of spending some time reflecting on them, and then deciding of those things and of those experiences, what would you like to invite more of into your new year? What do you want less of? What were some of the lessons learned or some of the gratitudes that you pull from that? We said it a couple different ways. What do I want more of? What do I want less of? What was life-giving? What was life-draining? Where do I feel proud of what I overcame or accomplished? What were the things of the things that were great? What made them great? And how can I duplicate those feelings or results that I got? Maybe not the exact event you're going to duplicate, but the feeling or the result that you got. What else? Did I hit them? Did I hit some of them?
No, I think that's it. That's and then in your, what decisions did you make that you were proud of, or that last one, knowing that what you know now, what advice would you give yourself?
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So we'll continue this, and next week, well, let's see. Will we be here? I think we'll be here next week. Next week we can talk more about what to do after we reflect. So maybe, for those of you listening, you're spending the time reflecting, and then and our goal by the end of January is for everybody, ourselves included, to walk away with a word for the year, or our phrase or mantra, sort of guiding mantra for the year. So we'll talk more about how to do that.
Yes. Beautiful. All right. Okay. Well, enjoy your January 1st, Rachel. Yes. There's a little rain on and off, but I think I'm gonna get outside here, and in a moment, and So, well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes. Happy New Year, everybody. See you next week. All right. Bye, friends.